Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Om Stavakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stavakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namaha. Asato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Pratyorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate, who came to establish universal religion, who integrated all the religions of the world and validated that all religions lead to this same divine abode of God. So according to Sri Ramakrishna's message, there should not be any conflict in the name of religion. We don't properly understand the teachings and interpret in a wrong way, giving rise to conflicts. Sri Ramakrishna is always stressing on one point, that is, be free to choose any path you want, but then hold on to it, proceed, living that life. You will reach the goal. You don't have to waste time unnecessarily in criticizing others, in interfering in others' way of life. Just go ahead, practice. So Sri Ramakrishna has given lot of teachings for spiritual seekers who really want to pursue spiritual path. Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna is full of such instructions. Today's topic I have chosen from the Gospel. Precious body is a useful instrument. God has blessed us by giving this human body. 5 senses, karmendriyas, senses of action, 5 jnanendriyas, manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, all these faculties God has given us. In fact, this body is compared to the chariot. So, God is so gracious, He has given us the chariot, special chariot, through which only you can reach the abode of God. Even in the angel's body you can't reach, for so many reasons. If a person has to realize supreme peace and bliss, if he has to be released from the cycle of births and deaths, he will have to ride in a wise way this human chariot. Life is given to us. All the faculties are given to us. We have to use our wisdom and pursue the path. So, it is very important to recognize this fact. At the outset, we have been blessed by God. Human life, what a grand life it is. Human body. Sri Ramakrishna says, use this body and senses in a right way. And Sri Ramakrishna assures emphatically, if a devotee prays to God with earnestness, God cannot help revealing Himself to him. The meaning of bhakti is to adore God with body, mind and words. That's the meaning of telling heart and soul. Be devoted heart and soul. The whole being must be involved in the spiritual practice. Sri Ramakrishna himself explains, with body means what? To serve and worship God with one's hands. Go to holy places with one's feet. Hear the chanting of the name and glories of God with one's ears. And behold the divine image with one's eyes. With mind, one should contemplate and meditate on God constantly. And remember and think of His Leela. With words means to sing hymns to Him and chant His name and glories. So in a way, Sri Ramakrishna has given instructions to us how to make use of this body, mind and words. Are we really using these faculties in this way? We have to examine ourselves. Devotion, as described by Narad, is suited to the Kali Yuga. It means to chant constantly the name and glories of God. That's all that you have to do. Rest will take care of itself. Sri Ramakrishna goes further and tells, let those who have no leisure worship God at least morning and evening by wholeheartedly chanting His name and clapping their hands. God sees into your sincerity. God accepts it. In fact, there's a story which comes in the Gospel. Somehow Narad, in the corner of his mind, thought that he was a remarkable, unparalleled devotee of God. Lord Vishnu came to know the thought in the corner of his mind. Immediately he called him, look, please go to the earth plane. Go to that particular place where a person is doing his activities. After observing him, come back to me and report how you would feel about that person. How that person was devoted. Narad was embarrassed. He thought, oh, probably God came to know the thought in my mind. But anyway, he went to see. At the outset, it did not give him any impression, because he was an ordinary farmer, very ordinary, extremely simple, and living in a poor cottage, whole day going to the field and working there, because Narad observed everything, he was told to observe. And he was wondering why God is so much drawn towards this person who is finding no leisure at all, spending all his time in the fields. But then he noticed, before going to bed, before going to sleep in the night, he would chant the name of God once. Wholeheartedly would chant the name of God and go to sleep. Morning also, when he woke up, he would chant God's name. That's all, 2 times. So he came back and reported the matter to Vishnu. And then Vishnu said, good. Now I am asking you to do some more. Please take this cup full of oil on your head and make a pradakshina of the place. Take care, not a drop should spill out. And Narad followed. But because the instruction was given, not a single drop should spill out from the cup. It was full to the brim. He was very careful in balancing his head while doing pradakshina. Finally, with great care and with great attention, alertness, he completed the job and presented himself before God. Then the Lord asked him, well, you did pradakshina, having this cup of oil. How many times did you repeat my name while making pradakshina? Narad didn't expect that Lord would ask this question. And he was truthful. He said, oh Lord, I couldn't utter even single time because the whole attention was on the cup. I could not do. Then Narayana said, good, look at that farmer. Whole day he was engaged in the field. But at least twice, morning and night time, he uttered my name. Is it not great? That opened the eyes of Narad. So, that's the way. Sri Ramakrishna says, in Kali Yuga, you can't do any kind of Hatha Yoga and realize God. It's all right for reading, for knowing the things, not for practicing. Not that you should not practice. Only point is, you are not strong enough to practice such yogas. Body is weak, mind is weak, senses are weak, no discipline, no regularity. With this kind of life, you won't move an inch forward. So, the alternative solution is just repeat the name of God, do bhajans, It should not be very difficult at all. Do that. If you can't do that also, then of course you have no hope for the time being. That's all. Sri Ramakrishna has given the easiest method possible for the people in this modern age who depend upon the food. Their bodies, they can't do austerities as in previous yugas. Hundreds of years they could stand and on one leg and do tapas, going under the water and doing tapas, all sorts of things they would do. You can't do that way now. People die if they go to try, if they would try to do it. So, wholeheartedness is important. Anyway, spirituality begins. At the outset, you must have tremendous faith in the presence of God. You must believe that God is operating the whole universe. That's the starting point. If that is okay, then everything becomes okay gradually. The ego of a devotee begets no pride. It doesn't create ignorance. On the contrary, it helps one realize God. Sri Ramakrishna explains this special type of ego of the devotee. It is no more like the ordinary ego than hinche is like ordinary greens. One generally becomes indisposed by eating greens, but hinche removes excessive bile. It does one good. Then Sri Ramakrishna gives another example. Sugar candy is not like ordinary sweets. Sweets are generally harmful, but sugar candy removes acidity. Then Sri Ramakrishna says, your devotees, those who would come to Sri Ramakrishna, he was addressing them. Then Sri Ramakrishna tells, I have no hesitation in telling you this. Nowadays, I don't see the spirit form of God. He is revealed to me in human form. It is my nature to see the form of God, to touch and embrace Him. God is saying to me, you have assumed a body, therefore enjoy God through His human forms. God no doubt dwells in all, but He manifests Himself more through man than through other beings. Is man an insignificant thing? He can think of God, he can think of the infinite, while other living beings cannot. God exists in other living beings, animals, plants, nay, in all beings God is present. But He manifests Himself more through man than through these others. Sri Ramakrishna gives another example. Fire exists in all beings, in all things, but its presence is felt more in wood. Rama said to Lakshman, look at the elephant, brother. He is such a big animal, but he can't think of God. But in the incarnation there is a greater manifestation of God than in other men. Rama said to Lakshman, brother, if you see in a man ecstatic love of God, if he laughs, weeps and dances in divine ecstasy, then know for certain that I dwell in him. All the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, they were all well trained in spiritual life by Sri Ramakrishna. Each one of them realized the reality while in human life. That means they were all Jivan Muktas. All the 16 disciples were Jivan Muktas. So Swami Brahmananda ji, one of the great disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, he has given wonderful spiritual instructions. If you have not read, please read the book Spiritual Teachings of Swami Brahmananda, also called as Eternal Companion. Gems. Every page has got gems. Swami Brahmanji says, give your body and mind to worldly pleasures. The world will destroy them both. On the other hand, devote them to God and His service. You will enjoy bodily health, you will have peace of mind, and you experience spiritual joy. Straight, Brahmanji says. So it depends upon how we make use of this body and mind and senses. God is greatly manifest in the human body. Sri Ramakrishna himself tells that devotee's heart is my drawing room. The body is the temple of God. One should practice worship and meditation within it. That's why the spiritual masters always say, think of God in the heart. Heart is the abode of the divine. Each one's heart is the abode of divine. Lord Krishna says in the Gita, Ishvara sarvabhutanam hriddeshe Arjuna tishtati. I dwell in the heart of every being. He is there. The yogis perceive him. He is in everyone's heart like a jyoti. It's called Atma Jyoti. See, when Shishupal in the court of Pandavas, at the conclusion of the yaga, they have to give arghya and worship to the most important sacred person. So they were finding out, they decided Lord Krishna is there, the Supreme Godhead, so we should offer worship and give arghya to him. Read that story in Mahabharata, it's a very interesting story. But Shishupala got up there and began to abuse Krishna. And Shri Krishna had given word to Shishupala's mother that he would excuse him 100 times. If it crosses 100 times, if it crosses 100th time, then they will take action against him. So that was the climax. He had finished his limit and Lord Krishna had to finish him off. So he sent his chakra, Vishnu chakra, and it went and it separated the head from the body. Then what happened? All the kings, Pandavas, everybody, whoever is there, hundreds of people, dignitaries, everybody was there. In front of them it happened. They were all seeing brilliant light but cool, just proceeding from the heart of the Shishupal. Proceeding where? Proceeding towards Krishna, and got merged in the divine heart of Lord Krishna. So what I mean to say is, God is present in everyone's heart like Jyoti. If you maintain with purity and try to concentrate and meditate at the heart center, you will be able to have the vision of that light. Once you have that vision, you feel totally transformed. You are a new person altogether. And that experience stays with you permanently. You feel you are ever free, liberated. That experience you get. Though temples may serve as aids to the beginner, they are but symbols of God's greatest of all temples, the human heart. To nourish the body, mind and brain, and to secure their fullest development, what is required? Continence is essential. Continence. People feel very difficult to practice discipline. But you must know, this continence preservation keeps up your spiritual vigor, keeps up your senses fully geared to do sadhana. There's always link between the body, mind. They're all linked together. When the body is disturbed, mind also becomes disturbed. Therefore, particular care must be given to the diet in order to keep the body healthy. Keeping body healthy is also a part of spiritual practice. Please note that. If you are healthy, then only you can think of God in a peaceful way. If you are sick, you can't do anything. Time goes away, time runs on without any practice. So, start with the idea that this body is the temple of Lord, and my Lord is installed in my heart. The mind is intimately related to the body. If the stomach is upset, you can never have good meditation. Hence it is that there are so many restrictions about food. The stomach should be half filled with food and a quarter with water, the other quarter being left vacant for passage of air. This is the instruction given by Brahmananji. Even to eat, how to eat, he is giving instruction. Are we following that like that? Generally we will have heavy dinner in the night time. Fire nicely. Then everything is fired off. And another spiritual instruction is one must have regular physical exercise every day. Even my Gurudev told me that, Yatishwanji. I had the privilege of serving him. And he said, please do exercise every day. And when I went to his room, he would ask me, Did you do exercise today? He would ask in a very loving way. So, you should be aware, my Guru will be asking, so I should definitely do it and go. And the point is, Yatishwan himself was doing every day exercise. It's only after exercise only he would take breakfast. I was supposed to take breakfast to him at 8 o'clock morning. Swami would be finishing his exercise and ready for breakfast. Anyway, our scriptures also say a good physique is the first requisite of spirituality. For spiritual advancement, one must first make the body strong. Unless the body is sufficiently strong, it would not be able to stand the reaction of a deep spiritual experience. Swami Chidananda says, if your body is weak, a mental derangement or a total physical breakdown may result. So, you need to be strong. If you are not strong, become strong. That's all. Simple. Pain and anguish belong to the body. He who dwells within the body is not affected by them. He is bliss itself. It dwells within every body. Sri Ramakrishna was having severe throat cancer, pain at the throat. He could not drink even water. With such terrible pain, he was feeling as if he is not having pain at all. In that condition, he would continuously be talking about spiritual ideas, giving spiritual instructions to the devotees who come there. As if nothing is there. Nobody can make out he is having throat pain. You will understand only when something is offered to him, when he begins to eat, then only you feel Swami is having some problem. But they have got such clarity of ideas, well rooted in spiritual practices. All the organs, they behave according to their dictates. Swami Chidananda was having a severe asthma, and every day all the monastic members, they would go, it's a practice even today. They go to Swamiji and make pranams and sit for a while, Swami will talk, and then they all go back. So like that one day, after talk everything is over, all the monastic brothers, they went back to their rooms to sleep. And Swamiji was preparing himself to go to sleep, but he could not get sleep because suddenly he was attacked with asthma. He thought it may go. It was not going, it was becoming more and more intense. He could not even breathe. It became acute. He could not call anybody. And then he decided, all right, let me separate myself from this body-mind complex. He sat in meditation and just separated himself out from that. Whole night was spent in meditation. Morning he was quite normal, there was no asthma. And people came there, brahmacharis, swamis, they came to pay respects in the morning, as usual. And they just inquired, Swamiji, did you have sleep? Oh, sleep! This is the way what got yesterday night. They were all surprised. And Swamiji was explaining in a very casual way, as if nothing. That's the Even Swami Turiyanji, they are all great. That's why you must read. I always say, taking mantra diksha is one step, solid step, no doubt. Next is, you must keep reading the Ramakrishna Vivekananda literature, all the direct disciples, their teachings and their instructions to devotees. They are all marvelous, really. Marvelous. So Swami Turiyanji also had some kind of boil on the back, on the spinal cord. So the doctor came, examined, and when they touched him, he was feeling so painful. Then afterwards, the doctor said, Swamiji, we have to operate this. Then the Swami said, all right, give me some time. Give me some 15-20 minutes time. I will give you signal, then you start. In that interval, he sat in meditation and separated himself from the body. Then he gave the signal, do whatever you want. He would cut everything. There was no anesthesia at that time. You can imagine. Swamiji never shouted, as if nothing happened, as if he is not body. And after some time, again the doctor came to examine the Swami. Then without telling him he was touching the place where he operated, Swamiji shouted with pain. And doctor was puzzled. What, Swamiji, the other day there was not a drop of tear in your eyes, you were cheerful, peaceful, but now just by gentle touch you shouted. Then Swamiji said, look, at that time I gave warning to you, but this time you came to me and touched me without any warning. All of a sudden you came and shut. That is, Swamiji was in body consciousness. When he was conscious of the body, then all these ailments will come. That's the idea. Man suffers so much by ignorantly identifying himself with the body. Do you know the way out? The way out is to know Him. Him means God. He is purity, knowledge and freedom itself. He is the indwelling spirit of all. By knowing Him, man goes beyond pain and sorrow. You may well avoid those things, foods that excite the nerves too much. Food is not meant for the mere gratification of the sense of taste. It is meant for the maintenance of the body, and the maintenance of the body is meant for God realization. They are linked like that. This body will have to follow the natural modifications, very natural, 6 changes. That is, be born, exist, grow, be transformed, get worn out and die. So what is the essence in worrying about it? By worrying, can you avoid them? No. So why should you worry at all? Unless our body is kept in equilibrium, we cannot concentrate our mind on our Ishtadevata. So we should take such food as suits our constitution. Each constitution is different. You take what that suits you, what is comfortable to you. You don't have to imitate somebody else. Pay some special attention to the body. Regularity in bathing, eating, they are always desirable. It is necessary to be regular about sleep also. Not sleeping in an irregular way. One day I sleep at 11 o'clock, another day I go to sleep at 2 o'clock, another day I don't sleep at all. No. Everything should be properly monitored. The root cause of all desire is the ego and our identity with the physical body. Remember, your body is not made for personal pleasure or enjoyment. That's very direct instruction. People think the body is meant for enjoyment. Remember, your body is not made for personal pleasure or enjoyment. It is for the purpose of spreading the devotion, knowledge, ecstasy and rapturous revelations that were expressed through Sri Ramakrishna. If you feel that all pain and suffering are of the body, not your own, and that you are separate from the body, only then are you right. Let the pain know and the body know, but you, O my mind, remain forever in bliss. Yes, one is bound to admit that when one feels oneself as body, one must consider oneself as a servant of the Lord. It is the human body that the gates to freedom open. So every man, here whenever I say man, it includes woman also. Every man should be on his guard to make a good use of his life. Enjoyment is possible in other bodies also. Animals also enjoy, but freedom is not. The great elements, egoism, intellect, and also the unmanifested, the 10 senses, desire, aversion, pleasure, pain, the body, consciousness, fortitude, these briefly described constitute the kshetra, the field, and its modifications. The kshetrajna is soul, and that is real, and its reality makes the kshetra, the body, mind, etc., appear as real. So the modifications are on the body, mind and senses, not on the soul. When a person dies means the body drops, but the soul leaves the body and goes to take another body. To the question, is it not our duty to keep our body healthy? Yes, but from the highest standpoint itself, body itself is a great disease. We want to go beyond the idea of body and to realize that we are the Atman. It is the love of our body that stands in the way to our realization of that higher state, where we can say, I am not this body, I am the Atman. The body is an illusion. As long as we love the body, we cannot realize this Atman, and we shall be born again and again. But when we love the Atman, then we become indifferent towards the body, and when all love for the body goes, liberation will come very soon. Atmarati is called. One is satisfied in one's own self. This is just the way the body is. All right today and bad the next day. After all, it can only move towards its destruction. One's body is not eternal. One day or another it has to go. So why all the fuss? A person becomes perfect in proportion as he rises above the ideas of body, etc. Think of your body. Remember, it is the instrument of the soul. We must keep it strong and healthy and make it a useful instrument. We must master the body so that through it we can express our divine nature. Swami Ramakrishna Ji Another direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna said, those who can resist the demands of the body can afford to wage an incessant war against Maya and come out victorious. But they are very few. For others, they can only take refuge in God's feet. Sharanagati. There is no way. This outer body of yours is only an instrument and cannot limit you unless you give it the power. You have actually need of nothing. You are already complete, but you have forgotten it. You have thrown away the real jewel and are making much of the pebble in the street. This body is only an instrument, a passive instrument. And the instrument really has no existence of its own, for it is wholly dependent on the one who uses it. Suppose a pen were conscious. Pen. It could say, I have written hundreds of letters. But actually it has done nothing. For the one who holds it has written the letters, not the pen. Really. So because we are conscious, we think we are doing all these things. Whereas in reality, we are as much an instrument in the hands of a higher power as the pen is in our hands, and he makes all things possible. The body is a first tool for the practice of virtue. When man asserts himself in man, he commits all sorts of atrocities. In a body has a little bit of selfishness. Selfishness lingers as long as the body idea persists. If there is no selfishness, there will be no body. For when selfishness is taken away, what remains is only God. The object of food is to build a strong body and a fine intellect. Unless the body and mind are pure, it is not possible to go through spiritual practices. It is the food offered to God that builds a pure body and mind. Food builds the body and the mind, and the nature of the food also affects them. So Vivekananda said, the self cannot be attained by the weak. Understand? Just build up a strong body. A healthy, strong body alone can have healthy thoughts. Otherwise, a weak mind weaves a cobweb of thoughts. You are so careful about your body, but when you are asleep, you are not aware, even if a dog passes water on you. This is all that an ordinary man is. To the question, how is the condition of your body? Swamiji said, the body is the first consideration. Then comes the practice of religion and spirituality. The body must be good and fit. That is the root of the four great purposes of life, namely performance of duties, earning of wealth, fulfillment of desire, and lastly attainment of liberation. But do you know about the unburnt and burnt clay parts in a potter's house? Until the shape of a golden ornament is completed, the mold is necessary. Swami Vivekananda said, the body is made up of 5 bhutas. The word bhuta has got double meaning. Bhuta means ghosts. It also means constituent material elements. Panchabhutas, Agni, Vayu, Akasha. And as one would call on Rama to get rid of the fear of ghosts, so also one must take refuge in Rama to be saved from the lures of these elements. Your body is built through the food you take, and if that is not clean and pure, can you expect mental perfection? Likewise, there have been spiritual interpretations of Rath Yatra and Snan Yatra, the Lord's car festival and the festival of bathing, Whoever sees God inside the chariot of the body derives the joy of the car festival. In the Kathopanishad also it is written that the body is a chariot and the soul is a charioteer. The festival of bathing means dipping oneself in the water of noble and sacred thoughts. There are three particular regions of the body which are good for the purpose of meditation. The heart, the spot between the eyebrows, and the nerve center in the brain, Sahasrara. Anyway, the theme of today's topic is body is very precious, given to us by the great blessings of the Lord, and it is the most useful instrument. We must make use of it to realize the truth in this life. Narendra said, page 972, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, how amazing it is. One learns hardly anything though one reads books for many years. How can a man realize God by practicing sadhana for 2 or 3 days? Is it so easy to realize God? To Sharat, he said, you have obtained peace. M2 has obtained it, but I have no peace. It was afternoon. Many devotees were sitting in the master's room. Narendra, Sharat, Shashi, Latu, Nitya Gopal, Girish, Ram, M and Suresh were present. Kedar came in. This was his first visit to the master for some time. While staying in Dhaka, in connection with his official duties, he had heard of Sri Ramakrishna's illness. On entering Sri Ramakrishna's room, he took the dust of the master's feet on his head and then joyously gave it to the others. The devotees accepted it with bowed heads. As he offered it to Sharat, the latter himself took the dust of Sri Ramakrishna's feet. Yam smiled. The master also smiled, looking at Yam. The devotees sat without uttering a word. Sri Ramakrishna seemed about to go into an ecstatic mood. Now and then he breathed heavily as if trying to suppress his emotion. He said to Kedar by a sign, argue with Girish. Girish said to Kedar, sir, I beg your pardon. At first I did not know who you were. That is why I argued with you. But now it is quite different. Sri Ramakrishna smiled. The master knew Kedar's attention to Narendra and said, he has renounced everything. To the devotees, Sri Ramakrishna said, Kedar once said to Narendra, you may reason and argue now, but in the end you will roll on the ground, chanting Hari's name. To Narendra, take the dust of Kedar's feet. Kedar to Narendra, take the dust of his, meaning master's feet. That will do. Surendra was seated behind the other devotees. The master looked at him with a smile and asked and said to Kedar, how sweet his nature is. Kedar understood the master's hint and went towards Surendra. Surendra was very sensitive. Some of the devotees had been collecting funds from the household devotees to meet the expenses of the Kasipur garden house. Surendra felt piqued at this. He was bearing most of the expenses himself. Surendra said to Kedar, how can I sit near all these holy people? A few days ago, some of them, referring to Narendra, put on the ochre robe of the sannyasi and went on a pilgrimage to Buddha Gaya. They wanted to see bigger sadhus there. Sri Ramakrishna was trying to console Surendra. He said, you are right. They are mere children. They don't know what is good. Surendra said to Kedar, doesn't our Gurudev, referring to Sri Ramakrishna, he is telling, doesn't our Gurudev know our inner feelings? He does not care for money. It is our inner attitude that pleases him. Sri Ramakrishna, with a nod of his head, approved Surendra's words. The devotees had brought various food offerings for the master and placed them in front of him. Sri Ramakrishna put a grain on his tongue and gave the plate to Surendra. He asked Surendra to distribute the prasad to the devotees. Surendra went downstairs with the offerings. We shall stop here. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself, O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy. How huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O may mind be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue. The playthings of lust or the ties of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrated thy who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied, for he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.